What's going on, guys? Styx here with the Token Minorities, bringing you the battle for the first round of playoffs against Mio and his OKC Thundurus. And before I get into the battle, just a reminder that if you guys liked this video or found it helpful, please leave a like, drop a comment, click that subscribe button. Helps us out a ton and lets us do more cool stuff for you guys. And if you have not done so already, please feel free to check out the TTM Discord that will be linked in the description below. We have channels for all different types of Pokemon play, whether that's TCG, Smogon, or draft format, and we do have the accompanying channels of all the different draft format teams on this channel. So yeah, without further ado, let's just go ahead and jump right into the battle. Like I said, I've been up against Mio and his OKC Thundurus, and if you have not checked out the team builder, I will be linking that in the description. I highly encourage you to do that to understand the mons that I brought and why I chose to bring what I did. But a really quick rundown of the mons that I have. I just have a 4 attacking dual momentum Tapu Koko, a Spidef Aka Ferrothorn with spikes, a defensive Necrozma with Rocky Helmet as my Lop answer, a Spidef Swampert to get up rocks early on, a Scarf Buzzwole, and a Psychium Z Raichu with Protect, so that Fake Out cannot be used to pick off my Raichu late in the game, and it will be able to hopefully sweep given the right situation. So yeah, looking at Mio's team, the first thing I am noticing is that there's no Seismitoad and no Magnezone, but there is the Nidoking and Mandibuzz, unfortunately. So I mean, like, it completely makes sense what he's bringing. Then again, like I said in the team builder, anything on his team can realistically be brought, and I wouldn't be like, oh, that's a bad bring against me because he just has so many threats. But it does look like he went with a much more offensive build, with Mandibuzz being his only, looks like his only even remotely defensive Pokemon. As, I mean, there are ways to run like defensive Dragonite, defensive Nidoking, but it looks like he went for a much more offensive approach. But that being said, let's just go ahead and hop into the battle. I am going to lead with my Swampert so that I can get rocks up immediately, force the Mandibuzz to defog as soon as possible, and he leads with his Lycanroc, and so I was like, oh crap, this is a Sash Endeavor set, with a lead Sash Endeavor set, so I am just going to go ahead and bring him down to his Sash as he gets up his rocks, and now I'm going to get up my rocks as he endeavors me. And at this point, I know what this set is. I know this set is going to be rocks, probably some form of, well, it's probably going to be rocks, Accelerock, Endeavor, and Taunt, if it gets Taunt. I'm pretty sure it gets Taunt anyway. But either way, I went for the Earthquake on the first turn in case he tried to taunt me, so that he'd either be forced to prevent my rocks on the next turn with Taunt, or bring down my Swampert to 1 HP, or bring down my Swampert to 1 HP. He wouldn't be able to get up his rocks and bring me down to 1 HP without me getting up my rocks as well. So now that I brought him down to his Sash, I just get up my rocks, as he's more than likely going to endeavor to at least guaranteed take out something with his lead Lycanroc. But at this point, I'm going to Protect, because even though I know the set, I want to create a mind game with whether or not I'm going to switch. And then knowing that Mio is a good enough player, he'll probably think that I might try to save my Pert. I'm actually going to stay in, as I do get that right. He does go for the Endeavor once again, and I am able to take out his Lycanroc with an Earthquake from my Swampert. Brings in Lopunny, and figuring that Swampert can be a very good sack later in the game, as this will probably be a game of sacks, I'm going to go straight into my Necrozma, take the hit from Lop, and then just be able to get some Rocky Helmet damage off on him as he does Toxic me. But I am just going to Morning Sun. I know that this Lop cannot beat me one-on-one. So yeah, I mean, I'm back at full. I am Toxic, but that's not a huge deal. I am just going to fire off a Toxic of my own as he goes into his Mandibuzz, which, I mean, looks to be defensive. I mean, that's what Mandibuzz is, I believe. I believe there's only been a few instances that I can remember, at least, of Mandibuzz not being defensive. But he does double into his Nidoking as I switch into my Tapu Koko. Good play on his end. I am going to sack off my Swampert, get a good switch in, as I don't want this Nidoking to be scarfed. Sludge Wave just knock out my Koko, so I am going to sack off my Pert as he doubles into his Lopunny. And I'm just going to go straight into the Buzzwole, fire off 2 Ice Punches, as it will be able to 2-hit KO him, as he does end up staying in. Now, the play was not to Drain Punch. Like, first of all, Lop would have done around, like, high 30s, low 40s at the absolute most. I mean, it would have done around like 37, 38% to my Buzzwole with return if he clicked it, which, I mean, I got the team from him afterwards. And yeah, whatever he would have gone for that turn, return would have been the strongest option he had. So, I mean, just staying in with my Buzzwole was the play. Would have done like maybe around high 30s, would have been, yeah, right around high 30s, and then Ice Punch would have been able to 2-hit KO him. And then this way, if I locked into Drain Punch, then something like Dragonite would have been able to come in and potentially set up. I did not want that. So Ice Punch, even though it wouldn't have been able to pick up the KO on Lop, was the play, as it was a guaranteed 2-hit KO, and then whatever he did would not have done a whole lot to my Buzzwole. So unfortunately I get the freeze, but as you'll see later in the game, the freeze actually doesn't matter all that much. Like, still sucks, definitely 100% sucks, but in the overall scheme of things, it won't matter too horribly much. I'm going to go for another Ice Punch as he goes into his Victini, and then knowing that Lop is low, that I can, it's also frozen, I can outspeed it with some stuff, I'm just going to sack off my Necrozma as I don't think it's needed anymore. This is kind of a misplay on my part, all things considered, but Necrozma does go down. I do still have my Mons, and at this point, I'm going to go into my Tapu Koko, get off U-turn damage, because, I mean, this is obviously a special Victini, and it looks like special Scarf, as he tries to sack off his Lopunny, but going for the U-turn means that Lop is still alive. So I'm going to try to take full advantage of this, go into my Ferrothorn, and start getting up a couple more, and start getting up some spikes, maybe wear down this Victini a little bit more, and now this Victini is dead to hazards, so I am going to stay in with my Ferrothorn, as the only thing that Victini can do to me is Blue Flare, and then once I lower its speed with Bulldoze, I knew that I'd be able to live the Blue Flare because of my Aqua Berry. Lower the speed, make it completely dead to rocks, can't even switch out, and now, okay, so my Ferrothorn just went down. I have rocks and one layer of spikes down. Lop is basically dead to hazards at this point. Well, it is dead to hazards at this point now that I have the spike up. Nidoking, with the set that Mio has, is in range as soon as he comes in of a Buzzwole's Ice Punch because, spoilers, he ended up being hasty. Dragonite, of course, is in range of Ice Punch because I break the multi-scale and I will be able to KO that thing. Mandibuzz is the only Mon on his team that is not in range of Ice Punch because, I mean, even if it's not defensive, even if it is Spadef, which I expect it to be given the makeup of my team, Mandibuzz can still take an Ice Punch after coming in on rocks. So the name of the game for me to win this game is to keep my hazards up. And the way I do that, or the way I should have done that, is to go into Raichu this turn to pressure the Mandibuzz. But what I end up doing, and I'll get into more of that later, what I do end up doing is going into my Buzzwole thinking that, okay, I can get the +1 Beast Boost and then I'll just be able to sweep from there, but Mio makes a very good play, sacks off the Lopunny. I do not get a Beast Boost. I wish Beast Boost worked like Soul Heart because otherwise that would have just been game right there. But unfortunately, that's not how it works. Mandibuzz is able to come in and he's going to be able to defog away my rocks. I don't even want to risk a potential Brave Bird if he decides to stay in because the Buzzwole is so important to winning the game. So I'm just going to go into my Tapu Koko, as it will be able to pressure his team a little bit, get some damage off. I go for the U-turn as opposed to going for the Volt Switch, as I do kind of want to try to get a Beast Boost off of this Mandibuzz. And he goes for the Foul Play. I intentionally did not go Raichu because I was thinking, okay, if he stays in, he's either going to... If he stays in and roosts, I can switch back into my Tapu Koko, no harm, no foul. But if he's staying in, there is a good chance he's going to try to predict my Alolan Raichu coming in. I did not want Raichu to take that foul play, so I just go into my Buzzwole, take a little bit of damage off of Mandibuzz. And at this point, I'm just going to start spamming Ice Punch. I pick up the KO on the Mandibuzz, and then potentially I can just sweep right here, but the Victini is scarfed, so yeah, I mean, I'm going to just stay in, sack off my Buzzwole as he does miss the Blue Flare. Very unfortunate, and I am able to take out the Victini with the Ice Punch. And then from there, both the Dragonite and the Nidoking will go down to Buzzwole's Ice Punch, because even though Dragonite has multi-scale, it's still a ×4 weakness, and Buzzwole does have +2 attack, and so I'm going to be able to take out both the Dragonite and the Nidoking. Now, I mean, I felt like I kind of had the tools to play around in the end game, but in all honesty, I felt like crap after this battle. I was really kind of PO'd about how this battle turned out, because, I mean, I hate winning to hacks. Like, I mean, this game undoubtedly came down to hacks, because, I mean, if Victini had knocked out my Buzzwole, he did have dual Prio on Dragonite and Nidoking, which would have been able to take out my Raichu in the right situation. So, I mean, I just felt like crap after that battle. Like, it really didn't... Like, it didn't feel good. It didn't feel good like a win should. And I got the team from Mio, and I spent the next hour and a half just replaying the battle, thinking about what I could have done differently. Because, I mean, I don't like the fact that I had to win off of a Blue Flare miss, so I was looking back at what I should have done in order to have the game guaranteed without the need for hacks. Like, if I had made which plays would have allowed me to win the game without hacks. And I talked to Maddie Brawlick about it for a while the next day, and just, yeah, I mean, he understood that it's just like, I mean, a win's a win, and I'm still moving on, and that's what's important, but just, yeah, winning like that is not the way you want to win. But anyway, like I said, after the battle, I spent the next hour and a half replaying the battle, looking over the team, seeing what I could have done differently in order to have the game without the need for hacks. Because, I mean, I don't like the fact that I had to win on hacks. Like I said, I was looking for a way that I could have won without it, and it all came down to turn 17, where Victini does knock out my Ferrothorn with the Blue Flare, and it goes down, and I decide to bring in my Buzzwole. Now, I replayed this game, and in the replay, Lopunny was able to get off return damage on my Buzzwole, which I'm assuming Mio went for. I mean, I was going with the attack that would have resulted in the highest amount of damage on my Buzzwole from the Lop. So, I mean, I just went for like a worst case scenario in that situation. And I obviously wasn't able to replicate the freeze. But when he knocks out the Ferrothorn, what I should have done was gone into my Raichu. Because the only way I lose this game right now is if Mandibuzz is able to defog away the hazards before my Buzzwole gets up to +1. If my Buzzwole gets up to +1, then I will just straight up win the game with Ice Punch spam, and that's just how it goes. Like, if I get my Buzzwole in on Dragonite or Nidoking and both Lopunny and Victini are gone, or Dragonite's multi-scale is broken, then I just win the game straight up with Buzzwole, no questions asked. So what I should have done in this case, gone to Raichu, and then he either sacks Lopunny or Victini, they go down, and this prevents Mandibuzz from being able to come in, because if Mandibuzz comes in, then I knock that out with a Thunderbolt. And yes, Electric Terrain would expire, but as you can see here, when I go into Buzzwole, I still have one turn of Electric Terrain remaining. So even though my Raichu does not outspeed the Victini naturally, I mean, even if Victini is just, well, I mean, it's Scarf, but it's at neutral right now. So at fast, it's 328. My Raichu is at 296 to outspeed the Nidoking. But either way, because I'm in the Electric Terrain, Victini goes down. He either has to sack Victini or Lopunny to the Raichu, and then whatever he goes into, I have counterplay. If he just sacks let's just say he made the same play of sacking the Lopunny, because, I mean, Lopunny's dead anyway. So he'd still have the Victini that dies to rocks. He still has the Dragonite, Nidoking, and the Mandibuzz. Dragonite and Mandibuzz both go down to attacks from Raichu. Mandibuzz gets knocked out by a Thunderbolt. Dragonite gets knocked out by a Z Psychic. Guaranteed. Like, with the set that he had, Dragonite is guaranteed knocked out by Z Psychic after rocks. So worst case scenario, Dragonite comes in, hits me down with E-Speed, and then I knock it out with a Z Psychic. If Mandibuzz comes in, blah, 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 that whole Thunderbolt thing. And then, of course, Victini can't come in because it's dead. So in all likelihood, he would have gone into his Nidoking, because his Nidoking has Life Orb Sucker Punch with 40 attack EVs. Now, if you bring a Nidoking in on a Raichu, even outside of Electric Terrain, I'm thinking that A, you're Scarfed, or B, you have something that I'm not thinking of. So my play with Raichu, after I would have knocked out I would have forced the Lop or the Victini to be sacked, I would have protected. Because if you bring in a Nidoking in on a Raichu, that means you got something up your sleeve. That means you have something that you're either a Scarf Nidoking, in which case you'd go for Earth Power to try, or Earth Power or Sludge Wave in this case, probably Sludge Wave, just because Sludge Wave probably would knock out the Raichu. So you're either Scarf Nidoking, or you have something I didn't think about with the Sucker Punch. Either way, my play is to go for Protect, which I would have done, seen the Sucker Punch, and then it would have been somewhat of a mind game from there. Probably would have gone into my Tapu Koko, as he probably would have Sucker Punched again, because he needed to get the... needed to knock out the Raichu, as that was his way of winning. And even if he had attacked the Tapu Koko, then I would have been able to just get the Electric Terrain up, go into Buzzwole, and then Ice Punch my way through. And that really... it really would have just come down to mind games at that point, whether or not I was able to get back in my Raichu on the Lopunny sack, and then with the investment that I had on Buzzwole, actually Buzzwole just being fat in general, I would have been able to take Return into 2-Rock Switch-ins, into Adamant Extreme Speed, into Life Orb Sucker Punch from Nidoking. So Buzzwole still would have been healthy and able to take all of those attacks. And so it would have just come down to Buzzwole, eventually him running out of sacks, Buzzwole being in on Dragonite or Nidoking, and then being able to either 2-hit KO the Mandibuzz on the switch, or get up that +1 Ice Punch, which would have allowed me to win the game. So yeah, had I not been dumb, had I simply brought in Raichu right here, that is where I believe that I would have had the game unlocked. But as it stands, I was dumb, brought in Buzzwole, one of the biggest chokes of my life right there. I mean, that was absolutely gigantic. And then, but he did miss the blue flare. So we are able to move on to semifinals. Not the way I wanted to win, but I mean, we're still alive. That's what matters. Good game, Mio. Sorry that your season ended that way. And hope you guys enjoyed watching. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. And this is Styx signing out. Why not? See you guys.